Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how I use ScanNCut Canvas to create the cutting file to make this fold over lid box. The box measures 4 by 2 by 2 and it's a simple fold over style. So I'm in ScanNCut Canvas and I've seen these types of boxes made on the internet. And they're made with scoreboards, and as a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator I have a Simply scoreboard and it's brilliant and I use it all the time. I not only use it for making cards but for decorations. I use it for embossing lines on cards and for boxes. But sometimes you see something and it just sparks something off in your mind and you think, actually I can do that in Canvas. And that's where the idea for this box came. So I knew that I wanted my box to be 4 inches long, and I knew I wanted it to be 2 inches high and 2 inches deep. So that was the starting point for how I came up with this design. So I came to the basic shapes and I chose a rectangle. Now I knew that from here to here I wanted my box to be 4, but I also knew that I wanted 2 inches up the side and 2 inches deep. So I had to allow for 2 inches here and 2 inches here, which is 4, plus the 4 for the width of the box. So that was 8, and I knew then that I wanted it 2. So my first rectangle had to be 8 by 2. So with the rectangle selected, I went to the properties box. I unticked maintain aspect ratio so that I could size the width and the height independently. And I made this one 8 and I made this one 2. So that effectively would be the front of the box. So then I would need a bottom and a back. So I needed 2 more of these. So just right click and create duplicate, line it up just above and do another one. Then for the top of the box, it would obviously have to be 2 inches deep, the same, and it would have to be 4 inches, but I didn't want the flaps to be the same depth as these two, what will become 2 2-inch sections. It will hopefully make sense in a minute. So I selected this, created a duplicate, and what I did, I took an inch off either side. So instead of being 8 by 2, it became 6 by 2. And then I needed the flap that folds over the front, which would have to be the same width as this. So again, I created a duplicate, but I only wanted the flap to be half the width of this, so I made this 1 inch instead of 2. Okay, then I selected everything and I went edit, align, center. So they all center to each other. Just get rid of the properties box for a minute. Now I'm going to zoom in. So what I did next, I'm not moving these left or right. I just want to move this down slightly to give me a tiny little gap here. So using the arrows on the keyboard, I'm going to bring it down and then click off and just do it by eye. You can see I've got a small gap there. I'm going to select this next one and do the same. Bring this one down. So there's a tiniest of gap, and then do the same with this one. You can see there's just a little tiny gap, and the same here. You want to try and get, if you can, the same amount of gap between them all, but they're all centered to each other. So now I'm going to zoom out. So because my box is 4 inches wide, chose another rectangle, held my shift key down to rotate it. I'm going to make this 4 inches wide. And I'm going to drag it out so that it is roughly about the height. It has to sit inside these 5 sections so it can't overlap. So that looks about right for now. I'm just going to move it out of the way. I'm going to select all these and right click and group. Undo that because I only want these, not this. Right click, group. They're now a group. I'm going to bring this over, select both, edit, align, centre and middle. And that puts this is nearly 9 by 4. So that's now in the centre of this. Select both and weld. So now we have the basis for the box. So the first thing I like to do is assign my cut and dash lines. So I'm going to select this, come to properties and give it a cut line and close that down. Now I need to put in the vertical and horizontal dashed lines, which will become the fold lines. The way I like to do this is using the grey line that's running around the outside of this mat. They're your ruler guides. So if you click on the magnifying glass and then click on the top of the design, that will be where it zooms to. Then if you click the select tool to deselect the zoom and just bring your page over, you can now line the top of this box on the grey line and the side on this grey line here. And this will just help you put your dashed lines in. If I click away, you'll see it's not quite on the line there. So if I select it and nudge it up with the arrows on the keyboard, it's on the line there and it's on the line there. I'm going to zoom back out, so zoom fit to page or fit to mat. And then I can see the 2 here. I'm going to come to the path icon, select that. Where the 2 is, I'm going to click, hold the shift key down and drag a straight line out. And double click. And while it's selected, go to the properties box, choose cut and choose my dashed line. Then I'm going to do exactly the same on the 6-inch line. So back to the path, come over to the 6, click, hold my shift key, double click, properties, cut, dash. Now I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to zoom in again. This dash line looks as though it's just overlapping, so I want to select it. So I'm going to use my select icon. Try and just get this dash line. Right, might have to send the box to the back. There you go. I'm going to use the arrows on my keyboard and just scoot it over a little bit. And that looks okay. I'm going to go back to fit to mat. Now I need to put these lines in. So again, if I select the zoom and click here, it will zoom into this section for me. Come back to the path icon, left click, hold the shift key down, double click, cut, dash, do the next one. And just move my way down and put the remaining 2 in. Now I'm going to zoom back to the mat so I can see everything. I'm going to select everything, right click and group. I'm just going to bring it back into the middle and I'm going to zoom in. Okay. Just to make the box a little bit easier to assemble, we're just going to make a couple of modifications. So I'm going to select the box, double click it to expose the nodes. This flap is going to glue inside here and this flap is going to glue inside here. So all I'm going to do is just click this node and drag it in a little bit. And the same here. Bring this one in slightly and this one in, like so. Sorry, we don't need those. Then this flap and this flap are going to be glued inside this one. So again, I'm going to make this the first and the third on each side slightly narrower. So again, just going to double click to expose the nodes. And then I'm just going to bring this one in. Try not to adjust the gap here. You're just trying to bring these flaps in so that when you glue them, it's just a little bit neater. Then if I zoom back out, you can see how it looks now. So this flap will glue in here and that one will glue in there, and the same on the opposite side. And all you will see is this perfectly square 2x2 section. And then the final thing I did, oops, just undo. Just go back, select everything, make sure it's all grouped. And then the final thing I did was created a rectangle for some matting layers. So I know this is 4x2, so if I select this and make this 1.75 by 3.75, that should give me a nice matting layer there. And this one is 1 by 4. Sorry, this is 2 by 4, this is 1 by 4. So if I select another one and make this 1.75 by 3.75, that will give me the matting layers. I didn't put the matting layer on the side of my box, but if you want to do that as well, just create another one and make it 1.75 by 1.75, and that should give you a matting layer for there. So if I zoom back out, there are your matting layers, and you can choose whether to cut them or not. You just need to give it a name now up here, save it and download it and cut it, and that's how I created the box. So I hope you found that helpful. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.